So it says, Hamlin Towns in Brunswick by Jumpin' Hanover City. The river Weser, swinging wide, flips its walls on the sunny side, and the grooviest scene you've never spied. At whence begins my ditty 500 swinging years ago, to see the town cats bob down so by. Squirmin' vermin was a drag and a pity. Rats! They flipped the dogs and knocked out the cats and nipped the babies in their cradles and held cheese and cracker patties right in the vats and slooped up the soup from the cook cat's own ladles and split with the kegs of solid spouts and blew jam sessions in the men cat's Sunday hats and even hung up the lady cat's backyard chats by pumping the squeaking, the shrieking, and squeaking off-pitch rap style rhythm and blues that shook all the chicks right down to their shoes. At last the town cast to the town hall and the body came rocking. 'Tis clear, said they, that our mayor's a flip. Our corporation is very unhip. We straighten them out with rows of vermin for squares who can't or won't determine to cool the scene and knock out the vermin. You dig because you're old and fat to play it cool like they ain't no rats. Swing up, sir. Give your wigs a rocking. Come on like Von Cliburn, or sure as fate will send you packing. At this, the mayor and the corporation shook like cats caught with inflation. For 1 solid hour, they goofed in council. The unhip mayor broke the spell for a dollar hot mayor and gown. I wish I was 40 miles out of town. It's easy to hip one to rock one's wig, but all I get is a strain from this gig. We've been digging and redigging, but all in vain, by gad. We're really stand for a trap. Any kind of a trap. Just as he said this, what should happen? The chamber door, boom, boom, came a rhythm tap. Hip-tee, cried the mayor. What's that? Well, the corporation cat says he's fat. Pauline, cried the mayor, puffing up bigger, when wham! In came the most far-out cuckoo character figure. His long zoot coat from stomach to head was half of yellow and half of red, no fuzz on his cheeks, no bulge on his pelvis. When this cat took a stance, he looked just like Elvis, and he swung right up to the council table. I said, let me hip you, Your Honor, said he. He said, I am able, by means of a secret riff. Did you hip what I'm putting down here? He said, all creatures beneath the... Boy, it said the square mayor and the unhip council stood like squares, cut out of blocks of wood, unable to move a step or make a sound as the children cats swung by on the bound, but could only dig with real sad eye the rock and roll crowd at the jazz piper's back to where the river Weser rolled its waters, a solid bullseye for their sons and daughters. But dig! He turned from south to west to Copperberg Hill, his rhythm addressed. Close after him the little cats pressed. Cool was the kicks in every breast. He'll never make that far out top. Well, hip, he must let the music drop. But double O when they swung to the mountainside, a great rock and roll portal, open wide, came on like a great jazz concert cavern, suddenly hollowed, and the piper swung in, and the little cats followed, and when they all made the inside scene to the very last, a jazz fanfare blew, and the swinging king-size door in the mountainside, boom, boom, shut fast. Did I say all? Nay. One little cat with a very bent frame, who could not make the dance scene all the way, and in the years that swung after, when he was sounded on his bang-down attitude, he used to say, yeah, it's a real solid dragon out of town since my play cat's cut out, and I can't forget that I'm forever shut out. For all the swinging sights they see, the piper also promised me, for he was just hipping us, he said, to a real crazy choice land. close at town, and near at hand, where soda pop rivers gushed, and hot dog trees grew, and flowers blew to a perfumed hue, and everything was so cuckoo and new, and sparrows flew brighter there than peacocks here, and dogs drag raced with the leaping deer, where honeybees swung with wondrous kisses instead of stings, and circus ponies were born with eagle's wings, and just as I solid knew that my bent frame would be straight, the sweet jazz stopped, and I stood still and dug myself outside that happy world gate, playing the loner against my will, with my bent frame limping as before, and to never pick up on that sweet jazz no more. So, Jack, lest you and I be wipers of scores out with all men, especially pipers, whether they pipers free from jazz, rock and roll, or the blue suede shoes, let's solid keep our promises, and we'll never blow the blues. Thank you, Crown Prince Butler.
Lord Buckley, my pleasure.
Pleasure indeed.
Man, so here we is. Here we sure is in Rome after all this here time, winning all that money in the horse and race, and here we is. It sure is some wild-looking scenery. Yes, it sure is. Look at that place over there. See, what's that? That place over there, some look like some big-time contract, you know, big cat. He gonna build a place in marble, you see, and he get halfway through, and the poor cat run out of loot. So, man, what's the matter with you? Don't you dig what that is? That's Nero's pad, Jack. That's Nero. Nero, pad, who's he? Man, you don't know who Nero is? Let me hip you that Nero was one of the wildest, gauntest, freakiest studs that ever stomped through the pages of history. He's the kind of a cat that balled up a big swinging Maine day breeze all the time. And the chicks was jumping and the juice was flying and the band was blowing and Nero having himself a fine time continued. Yeah, that's the kind of cat he is. And you see what I mean? When Nero get swanging along so good and having so much fun that he can't hardly stand it, and he gets his kicks warehouse so full of kicks there ain't no more place to put no more kicks in, then he poor cat gets hung. You see, but that don't bug him too much because he just whip out his scratch pad, which the cat always carried with him, and he scratch on the pad, he say, ooh baba doo, you with me, I'm with you. And he show it to his head pretor and stud, and this here big stud, he take it and he look at it and say, man, dig what this genius done put down. This cat is pushing Shakespeare. Up go Nero, man. He feel very mellow indeed. If it don't get it with the first one, he knock off 3 or 4 more till he's really right. But there was a cat one day fell into Nero's palace, and he said, what you saying, Nero? And he said, everything's cool. What's with you? He said, well, everything's fine. He said, give him a cake. You know how Nero is, always going out there. He said, that's right. He said, hey, Nero. I said, what is it, baby? He says, about them Christian cats. He said, man, Nero said, don't bug me with them Christians. Will you please not? He said, man, I'm a happy party cat. I don't want to hear about no Christian, Jack. I done told you 22 times, don't bug me with the Christians. Let them cats goof off any way they want it. That I don't mess with them. You see what I mean? I'm trying to get, they ain't as far out as I is they? No. Well, he said, that's what they say now. He said, you take it cool with the Christians. He said, don't bug me with them, please. He said, yeah, but he said, Nero, you don't know what them Christians is putting down about you. He said, what them Christians putting down about me? He said, them Christian cats saying that you ain't nowhere, you ain't gonna be nowhere, and you couldn't be anywhere because you is nowhere in front. Nero says, snatch them Christians. I'll go to Christian snatching. And then they go over hill and dale, pulling the big one in, chasing them down this lane and chasing them down that lane, and with the nets and the sacks, getting all the Christians and head, Jack, get that big one over there. That's why I put them running them, the Christians are going and jumping all over the place, and finally they get them all stashed together and put them down this big palladium operating ball game field where they're going to play, because Nero got a very hip stage, man. Just done hipped him already. If he snatches enough of them, then he's going to put on a big game with him. See, we're going to put a show, and Nero said, well, that's killing me, Jack. He said, you know, I'll blow with a great big show. And so the stage man stashed them all down long towards the end. You see them, and they play them where they can get through the cats easy for the games and the show, like to get the cues and all, you know. So everything is going fine, and here come Nero wailing down here with the chicks on his arms, and the band is playing the jazz, and he's got his royal Jews all hung on him and swinging down, and he sit down in this here royal swanging throne, and boom, the fanfare jump off. door open in the arena, and out come a chick about 6'2". She got the long blonde hair, is screaming out behind in the long wave. She's doing about 192 miles an hour right across the arena, and she gets about halfway in the middle, and bong, another door open, and wham, out come a great big line about 4 times the size of a blowed up bull, and this cat's knocking to it 42 feet in the air, and this chick look back and see him coming. Man, she's taking up Nero, and man, look at that chick blow. She's going like a mad dick. She going so fast and finally she up the wall. She just missed the top by 6 inches, and Nero say, knock a golden spike where that chick blew. He said, man, that chick could do some traveling. He said, boys, why you were chasing all these chicks all over the field like this? Let me look at some of these here chicks, see what's going on here. Say, that chick put down some action. That's more than you chicks in this court's been doing lately. And Nero bugging them a little bit, you know, he's the king anyway, see. Well, everything going on fine. Nero dig this mad game and say, hey, he said, look at that, look at them 4 horses trying to snatch that big fat catapult out there. Go, boy, go, go, go. They can't make it. They say, he holding another 5 minutes. I'm going to give that cat a pass. He coming on, put his side of there. And they're making soup out of the Christian, and they got him on the rack and this way and that way, and it's carrying on, and Nero having a ball. But about 5 days later, Nero called his stage manager in, and he say, man, what is you doing with me? He said, you giving me the same show every night. He said, well, Nero, I said, I don't want to hear no talk. I said, Jack, make a change, make it quick. The cat cut out. And just he cut out that night, there was, wham, come 5,000 slaves after Nero was gone into the palladium, this big football field. They got 5,000 crosses. They dig 5,000 holes. They put the 5,000 crosses in the holes. They dig 5,000 faggots at the bottom of the crosses. And the 5,000 slaves standing there with a great big burning faggot in their hand, ready to knock the fire on them faggots and light up the cross. And on the cross, there's 5,000 Christians from toothless pin to the cross. So that night when Nero comes swinging on in there with his cavalcade of chicks and so on and so forth, and he falls down into his big chair seat and boom, the fanfare jump off. 5,000 slaves come down with these 5,000 torches and lit up the 5,000 crosses, and 5,000 Christians start to wail up the biggest breeze you ever heard. And Nero said, man, they said, look at this, listen to them chicks wail out there. Say, ain't this crazy, ain't this gone, ain't this wild? He said, man, they said, this show. I said, I told you all that boy needed was a little boost. He's a good man, he knows what he's doing. He said, man, as a matter of fact, Nero was so hooked with what he see jumping off out there, he wanted to get in his chariot, you see what I mean, and drive down between the lanes of the crosses, you see, because Nero was reaching way out there anyway to get his vicarious ideas, see what I mean? But the head Praetorian say, he said, look, Daddy, say, I won't tell you your business, Jack. He said, you're Nero. I said, that's right, I'm Nero. But he said, if I was you, I wouldn't go down there amongst them crosses, you see, because he says, the populace is down there. And they say, you just burned the town down last Wednesday, Daddy-O, and them cats have been sleeping in shoeboxes and shelves and holes in the wall, and ever since, and them cats are very salty with you indeed. He say, I don't want to tell you what to do, but Nero say, get the chat. So, here come Nero. And he got the golden reins in his hand and the golden symbol upon his head and the 3 chicks hanging on to each arm telling him what a great cat he is. And he's riding down between these crosses. And you can hear his horses swinging in the jingle of bells and all the madness is going on. And Nero is freaked up in his mind. He's getting kicks out clean out of this child world. And he's carrying on like mad. This is bubbling with that mad movement. And the 3 chair cars is following behind him with his buddy cats in him. You see what I mean? In the 3rd chair car, there was a cat wasn't riding, he was walking. His name was Ubapalap, and he was a very bad cat indeed. He was the kind of a cat went over with a little juice session with one of his friends and invited him over. Come on over, Daddy. We drink up a little juice and everything will be cool. He said, that's fine. So this Ubapalap went over to this cat's pad, and in the middle of the juice party, they done run out of juice, and the cat swung around the corner to pick up another 5th. And while he was gone, this Ubapalap done burned his pad down and sold his family into slavery. Just one of them little old Sunday afternoon crisscrosses, you know what I mean? And a little bit later, this big cat that got crisscrossed with 2 bigger cats than he was, they found this little Ubapalap, you see what I mean, in the corner where he couldn't get away, and the big stud wanted to lower the boom on him. But the big cat that got crossed, he say, let the cat go, he's a square. Nero, what are you doing anyway? Let him go. Tell the cat to blow, that's all. Just get him on the side. You see what I mean? So Bob, he's a very bad cat, like I explained to you. And he came there, as I say, right, he's stomping every bit of the way. And he trying to look someplace where he can clarify a soul and see one spark of light jumping up. But he can't look no place, because there ain't no place like that to look. Because every time he looks, he sees something bad, and he feels very bad indeed. Ooh, he's got a strain on him, and all of a sudden he feels, something pulling and pulling and pulling on his neck and turning his neck around, and it finally whipped it around, boom, and pulled it up, and he looked up there, and there on the cross, he see this great big cat that he done crossed so many times before. And he stood up there, and Bob in the movie said he's trying to get away. He's trying to turn this way. He's trying to turn that way. He can't turn no way, because this big cat's eyes is born right down into him. And finally, Bob can't stand it no more. And he look up at the big cat, and he falls down on his knees, and he say, "In Christ's name, forgive me." And the big cat, just as his beard was catching on fire, say, "Everything's cool, baby." He said, "Don't worry about it, baby." He said, we take catch it later down the line. Now, when he laid that line for the third time on Ubabelab and done forgave him, that was too strong for Uba. First thing he did, he jumped 22 feet in the air. He come swinging down doing the Mexican tailspin and the Japanese ab-ab-ab, and he turning and twisted and doing cartwheels and all kinds of crazy things. And finally, his 2 feet, boom, hit the earth solid. And when it did, he pointed at Nero and he say, "There's the burner of Rome." And the Nero turned around and said, "Man," he said, "who's that big mouth back there?" I said, "Get that guy, check on that boy, call the guards here." Get that dog out of here, Jim, so help me.
God, I'll get him! Don't shoot him, He's a bird. You know, this reminds me, there's a very beautiful line right at the end of the book of The Horse's Mouth. The Gully Jimson lays the line. Joyce Carey's beautiful, beautiful, profound, informative, rich, luscious, juicy with information. The last words in the book. And when he falls off this sign and they carry him in and he's dying, but he's swinging. He's leaping, he's jumping, he's laying it down, you know. He's carrying it on. And they take him to the hospital, and it's a Catholic hospital, and they have nuns in there, you see. So he's still swinging, man. He's going out, but he's going out crazy, see. So the nun's a little shook up. She says to him, the nun says, "Mr. Jimson, at a very serious time like this, don't you think that you should laugh a little less and pray a little more?" And he looked at her and he said, "It's the same thing, madam," and flipped out. Well, to read that beautiful book, it's gorgeous. When you stop to think about laughter, it truly is religious. It gives off vibration from the subconscious. It swings, it sounds from the subconscious. When the person is laughing, he's illuminated. He's illuminated the full beauty of a human being. And the womanhood, when she's happy and laughing, is Mother Magnet. And she's, you know, there's laughter. Many times when you find yourself laughing, you say, "Oh, I wish John could be here. He loved it." So you're thinking love, you're vibrating love. It's a prayer. Oh! Wasn't that like a beautiful circus? Wasn't it really? Seemed to me like it was a beautiful circus. Didn't it you? All kinds of flags waving and hurling and jumping and pulling and falling and thumping and flipping and turning. It was very beautiful. The lead drummer there owns one of the largest health farm in the valley. He gets a little too healthy once in a while, you see. Lords, my ladies, this is Lincoln's Day. I'm waiting for someone to tell me it isn't. It's Lincoln's Day. Tomorrow should be Lincoln's Day, and the next day should be Lincoln's Day. You should have Lincolnville and Lincoln Park and Lincoln. And it should be Lincoln Head City because he laid it down tight and right and cool and crazy. If they could have stayed with it, it would have been a guess. We're pretty tight on it. But we can tighten up a little bit. We got to knock out the greed heads. Lincoln didn't dig the greed heads. Understand what I mean? Like the supermarkets for one kick. You remember the first supermarkets? They said, oh, the supermarket. They got orange, bananas, sunnies. You go in, yes, they trust you. Oh, yes. What do? You get a card. You do? Well, where's the proof? Oh, it's over there. Have you seen the Radney? No, I don't know anything about that. And then you are pushing with the supermarket with the cart. You grab the cart, and you go strolling up and down the aisles, and you load up all your jazz, and you're working for them, see? But it's all right. It's all right. Because you're getting, this is the beginning, very, very low prices. Saving, see? So you don't mind, pushing a little bit. And then a few swings of miles, same supermarket, same card prices. And you're still pushing the mother cart. Still working for them. And you'll even take carts and push them into other carts. Show that you're... Right? It's amazing. That is in charge. Isn't it? I love to go... I wish I had the nerve to be a great thief. That must be very exciting. I know a fellow with 17 sirloin steaks in his britches and you can't see it. He gets a little chill before he gets out of the bed. He just loves to steal. I can understand that. Can't you? Oh, it's a hanger. Egg wouldn't dig that jazz. It's a beautiful thing. It's written by Paul Newman's beloved grandfather in Cleveland, a Cleveland poet. It's the Black Cross.
Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, oh Lord, Kumbaya.
There was old Hezekiah Jones of Hogback County. He lived on a hill in a weather-beaten hollow. And all that he owned was a 2-acre plot and a bed and some books and a hoe and a shovel. Old Hezekiah. Black as the soil he was hoeing. He worked pretty hard to make both ends meet. He raised what he ate, with a few cents over to buy corn liquor, which he knocked down neat, and a few cents more that he put in the cupboard against what he called the rainy season. But he never got to save more than $2 or $3, still he spent it. For this or that reason, the white folks around old Hezekiah said, well, he's harmless enough, but the way that I figure, he better put down them goddamn books. Because reading ain't no good for an ignorant nigger. Reverend Green of the White Man's Church finally got coming over to ask you all about the pearly kingdom and to save your soul for the Lord Jehovah. You believe in the Lord, said the white man's preacher. Old Hezekiah puckered his frosty brows. I can't say yes, so I ain't gonna say it, because I've never seen the Lord nowhere, nohow. You believe in the church, said the white man's preacher. Old Hezekiah celebrated, the church is divided if they can't make up their minds. So I can't either, so I'm just like them. I ain't decided. Do you believe in heaven, said the white man's preacher? Where you go, if and you're good, for your last reward. I'm good, said Hezekiah, good as a maple, but I don't expect nothing from heaven, oh, dear Lord. You don't believe in nothing, said the white man's preacher. Oh, yes, I do, said Hezekiah. I believe that a man should be beholden to his neighbor without the reward of heaven or the fear of hellfire. Well, there's a lot of good ways for a man to be wicked. And they hung Hezekiah as high as a pigeon. And the nice folks around said, well, he had it coming. Because the son of a bitch didn't have no religion.